Welcome to Amplifying Leadership and Tip Thursday with Tara. I am Tara Lehman, a partner, coach, and consultant at Twin Life Coaching and Business Services, of which Amplifying Leadership is a division. I hope to bring you some information or a key takeaway you can use to build, enhance, or grow your leadership skills with Tip Thursday with Tara. I want to talk about something I hear from leaders quite often, or something that I recognize when I am doing my leadership coaching or consulting. It is the leader asking, how do I know if I'm being too hard or maybe not pushing enough to my people? When should I step in, maybe, or raise the bar, as some people say? And when should I just let the team do what they need to do and play it out to see what happens? So, effective leadership is not about always being on or push, push, push. It's about knowing when to apply that push and when to pause and let the team or person work through it. So, let's talk about why leaders push and when, and why we should pause sometimes. So, pushing often comes from a very good place. You mean it. You want to drive that performance. You want to hit that tight deadline. Been there. I've had many of those. You want to maybe raise the standard for your team or your employee, or you want to encourage someone to maybe grow and learn and stretch. Sometimes the strong push is exactly what is needed from the leader. So, for example, if your team is really getting stuck in making a decision, maybe they need a clear direction, or they're working, below their potential even, you should challenge them to level up a little bit. Here's the issue though, is when leaders do push all the time, like continually, people eventually tune out. They start to feel like nothing's ever good enough for you as the leader or even the organization, that their work isn't good enough. They may avoid now taking those risks you hope they do. They might get defensive when you try to push back, or maybe they simply start to burn out because they're just trying to keep up with everything and they start to disengage or even have pre-absenteeism. And pre-absenteeism is before absenteeism starts. It's where there is a decline in their productivity or engagement before they start taking those days off. So that's why learning when to hold back and to push are equally important as a leader. So holding back can feel uncomfortable. It can even feel counterintuitive at times, especially when you're a high performer, or you love to make sure things get done all the time perfectly. It can feel like you're being way too passive when you hold back, or that you're letting standards slip. But what's really holding back when you allow pause is the intentional space for others to step up, to learn and grow from mistakes and failures, to develop their own confidence and even problem solve on their own, or have the confidence to try to problem solve. So in this case, when we actually hold back and give intentional space to our team, you're not abandoning anything. You're not abandoning your leadership. You're not abandoning those leadership values. You're making room for growth and ownership. So the question then is, when do I push as a leader and when do I pause as a leader? Well, that sometimes can be a difficult one to figure out. So I want to give you a little bit of a very simple framework. If your goal is performance or development of your team, if you're aiming to meet a hard target, then push might be necessary. But if that moment calls for growth or curiosity or learning for their performance and development, then pause and support. If your employees really are ready for a challenge, or even maybe at their current growth potential, look for signs of overwhelm, burnout, or even disengagement, like they just don't care anymore. Sometimes pulling back and letting them grow builds trust more than actually doing the push. Maybe you're concerned because you've already pushed recently. Even the best teams need to recover and reflect from constant push. Constant pressure can become annoying to some employees, or quote unquote noise to some. So if you've been push, push, push lately, allow everyone to have that break and pause. Another question to ask yourself here is, am I pushing out of urgency or impatience? So be honest with yourself here. As a leader, you need to be honest with yourself in asking yourself these questions. Are you pushing because it's truly critical? Or is it because you feel too uncomfortable to wait any longer? That's a tough one. So think about that. I've coached leaders who never hold back. And let me tell you, what they do is they push, they drive, and they're constantly thinking about building a high performing culture. But what they're really doing when it's constant push is building fatigue, even fear that, things aren't being done correctly, or even a dependence on you as a leader. On the flip side, I've seen leaders and business owners who hold back way too much. They're just afraid of conflict or maybe even challenge, and their teams plateau. They just become comfortable. Growth and even profits start to stall in some of the cases that I've seen. Leaders, what you need to do is read the moment and then flex. Push when it's time to rise, pause when it's time to let others rise, and question urgency if you're pushing. Really, is it critical today, or can we just give it a minute to think? I always leave you with a challenge. So here's this week's challenge. Think of a person where you were unsure whether you should have pushed or paused. And then ask yourself, what was the outcome I was really aiming for? Was I helping them grow, or was I just trying to get things done? And if I did hold back for a moment, what might have happened? Will innovation and growth appear if I let go next time? Remember, leadership isn't about being the loudest voice in the room. It's about being the clearest and most intentional one. So really, really do look at, when do I need to push and when should I take that pause so they can learn and grow? I help leaders every day turn small insights like this into real world leadership impact with more clarity, confidence, and purpose. The Leadership Success Audit is this quarter's tool where you can uncover opportunities to improve communication, decision making, and see how you're doing with team performance, energy, and focus. The link will be in the episode summary. That is our tip for Tip Thursday with Tara this week. If you or someone you know is struggling with leadership priorities to building strong, empowered teams, I'm here to help. Please visit our website for more information on programs, coaching, and our Rise to Leadership program at www.amplifyingleadership.ca, a Twin Life coaching and business services division. Until next time, remember, leadership matters.